entrepreneur knows that he will not just create future leaders, he will also create a couple of entrepreneurs. And yeah, other thing is you will have to invest in training. There are not enough trained people out there for everything. So be flexible to move people's roles and be flexible to train. That's all I could put together.
Oh, very basic question that actually happens to every company out there, especially the companies I've worked with or I've seen the other companies. The basic situation is a lot of employees when they leave. One of the very common excuse or one of the reasons is that okay, I am actually getting, let's say some amount, and they know that they can get a good hike, salary hike when they actually shift from one company to the other. So it is they kind of threat the company that we are leaving because of this fact that the other company is offering this much, or basically the money is the actual thing. I mean, in some cases that happens a lot of time. One time you may actually tell the employee that okay, you stay, I'll pay you that. Then again that happens, I mean, how do you really actually, what is your recommendation? Do you really think that employees actually worth, do you actually see that we should actually let that person stay in the company or let it go? I mean, totally depends on the value of the person as well, totally understandable. But again, when it actually becomes a habit and one person looking at the other, that hey, he did that thing, his salary and he got a good hike, how about we try that? So how do you actually tackle that situation?
Okay, so see, one is you will not be able to hold everyone in the company forever. Some people will come and go, right? You have to, one is realize that. So make your hiring process and method robust. If your hiring is weak, right, you will be subject to all kind of torture while running this, right? So one is hiring. Everyone in the company must be very clear about your capabilities to find a replacement fast. They should know if they go, nothing is going to change, right? So that is the strength of a good enterprise, right? And for doing that, whatever you need to do, right? If you are in a business which requires a lot of people, that is one. Two is, if you are giving a lot of other things, right? Like you're giving flexibility, you're giving role, you're giving a lot of communication, access to decision making, etc. There is a very likelihood of somebody coming to you and saying that I'm getting marginally more money, etc. Right? It reduces. Because every person also keeps in mind the flexibility. I'll give you a very simple example. If you work 6 days a week versus if you work 5 days a week, right, it makes a hell lot of a difference for people to look at your sentiment. Right? There are people who will not take a 6 days a week job. Right? So you can't do anything about it. You are at a disadvantage if you work 6 days a week. And if by all your innovations and all your good capabilities, you can't make it with 5 days a week, you've got to look inwards and say, what kind of company am I building? Right? It's not about, so, and when we started Plug HR, I don't want to work ever more than 5 days. In fact, I find 5 days also very difficult to work. I think even my people, if they work 5 days every week, they're doing a great job. When I moved to a 2-day option, suddenly we had a lady we had hired from Unilever, and her doctor then somewhere suggested that she should take it a little easy. She discussed with us that she wants to take a break and all that. I asked her that has your doctor said take a break, or has he said take it easy? She said take it easy. I said let's make it easy. Alright, let's do what the doctor says. So we moved to 2 days a week job. Then looking at her, there was one more who also asked for it. We gave it to her also. Right? So it was perfectly fine. So if you can do all that, now this lady who was doing 2 days job for us, she can get any job in where she wants. But she's just fine here. So you got to creatively think and say, can you make your job so attractive that an increase in money will not be able to buy that guy? If you can't do all that, unfortunately the only tool you have left is money. So then you'll have to play the game by money. Right? But try and change the rules of the game. Right? Offer flexibility, offer this, that, whatever you want to can offer. So do that, make it interesting. Make the workplace interesting. Right? Think what do you do during that workday? Is there enough fun in the organization? Are people doing, a typical college is the best way to think of how people like an environment. Right? Of course, you can structure it a little more towards business results, but don't go too far from a college. Right? Remember, that's the environment we used to like. And some of the things are very easy. I mean, you can do away with plain, boring walls. You can use your walls to participate with you in trying to create a good workplace. But there's no reason you pay the cost for those walls, right? It's a real estate you pay for. Why should you not use them? Why should they not have caricatures? Why should not people have a wall writing day, wall painting day, things like that? Whatever you can think of. It's an asset available to you, use it.
Again, I think in real life it's actually a little different. So, I mean, no matter what kind of environment you give, there are companies where people are not even allowed to switch on their phones in the office hours. They are not allowed to actually check out their SMS.
There are.
There are not companies that allows you to even open Facebook for a minute, chat with your friends. On the other hand, we give all this facility, and in the end, this still happens. It's not about, again, money is something that, I don't know, money can actually drive anyone, I think so. I mean, especially when you are actually talking about hiring and firing. When you are hiring, again, this is one of the reasons, firing again one of the reasons, because you are paying the money, the person is not worth it. And in fact, it's not just about when someone leaves, this is one of the reasons. Another question that actually when someone joins in, I think it's becoming a culture that when someone comes in, they say that okay, their current salary package was 20,000. That means even if the company thinks that this person deserves only 16, but the person said I was already getting 20, there's no question that I'm going to go lower than that. I want 20 to at least. Again, I think that happens a lot as well. I don't know if anyone else agrees, but that is one of the common situations that I've seen. I mean, what's your call on it? I mean, how do you, let's say if you were handling this department, how would you go about it? I mean, person says 20, asking for 22, deserves 16.
So, Plug has a policy.
Okay.
We don't offer a raise at all. And if you are part of leadership team, there is no way that you can come in without taking a cut over your last salary. It is compulsory. So, and we have it written on our website. So if you go to a career section of our website, it says that we are not a great pay masters. Don't bother to even come to us if you're looking for money. Right? And we force senior people to take a cut. Now, that cut first 2 years used to be severe. Today it's more token because there are enough people who have come with a cut. It has become a culture of company where everyone working at a salary lower than their last. Right? So, and we realize that there is a huge upside of such people in the system. So they almost after that work as a owner. And I don't care which headhunter calls them because any day they know whenever they want to work out, they'll get more salary. Right? So that worry has gone from our head. And I have assured everyone that listen, the guys, the level at which we are being paid, any day you guys will be, accepted in the market at far greater salaries. So forget about your job risk and right? So that helped us. That also told us that we should continue building this culture. So today it's more about a token cut. We still offer a cut. But today it's not about whether you can take a 20%, 30%. Today we just tell the person, you suggest what you can let go. But you have to let go. If a person says just match my salary, so the discussion runs around this. Right? I say a cut, the guy says, listen, please match. There is not a discussion about raise. Because the discussion is completely different. He just then trying to protect what his last salary was. Right? And I say, no, we can't do that. So he has to take, even if you take 1% cut or even take 5,000 rupees less, it has to be less than this charge. It's a policy, we have been able to run it effectively. Right? And in first 2 years, we have a head of operations who took 30% cut over last salary as VP, right, to join us. She took 3 months to join us. First offer I made was at almost over 50% cut. After which she didn't speak to me also. We will see each other in some occasions and all, and she will not even talk. And one occasion I went up to her saying that, listen, I have to stop talking. She says, what weird offer you had sent me, you know that. So then we got discussed. But then during discussion she also told me that I did not join you, but one thing is for sure, all 3 months, often I used to think about what Plug HR must be doing now. Where all Prashant had said that they will do this good, they have done this. So we had been able to occupy her mind space, right? And finally we were able to convince her at a 3% cut. Not 50 but 30%. Right? It was a bold call for her.
But do you think this whole thing actually gets driven by a market trend? Like how the other company is doing it, you have to do it that way? Like for example, increment every 6 months because the other company are doing that. the company's policy on that?
So there's no one answer. I tell you, there are different companies based on their own capabilities and how their own founders are convinced about a particular aspect. You cannot try that. It's also not right to say that these are right only. For example, the fact that I insist on a cut, I can't say that that's the right strategy to do. That's what I feel is right to do. And I feel comfortable. I feel safe with people who have given up something which was dear to them to become part of my team. Because then I can leave my company on them. Right? It's my way of thinking. It may be right, maybe I'm losing out on some people who can come in if I pay a raise. Right? So you have to think what works for you. And what you think is the culture you want to build. It's not about more money, less money. People who have more money will offer more money because that's the weapon, that's the tool they have. They will use that. If you have money, use it. There are companies who pay people more so that they completely get outplaced in the market. Right? People will not hire them because they're getting more money.
The last question now.
I actually wanted to add about where this culture gets started, where people are motivated by money. How much you're paying, is it better than last time or not? If you just go back in time and see where your employees are coming from, where they're being trained, schools and colleges. If you ask engineers, they don't think in terms of what I'm going to do in science, what I'm going to innovate, or what I'm going to do. They are kitne ka package milega mujhe. So motivation from the very beginning is about how much package you're going to get. That's why where it gets corrupted. Later on, they're always motivated for money. They don't have zeal for the topic they're studying. They don't zeal for the job they were studying. So the very start of motivation is wrong. So obviously it goes on wrong. They switch for money, not for. They don't leave job because they were seeing, okay, I want to do this. I'm really passionate about this project I'm working on. I'm attached to. I can't leave project even if they're offering 1 lakh more. They're not attached to the job. They're attached to the salary statement. So that's where it is coming from. Its basic funda is wrong where it starts.
Let me ask you something. If tomorrow you are running a company and you are hiring someone, there is one guy who just had 2 years experience, he's pretty good. You give him, let's say, 20,000 rupees. Another guy comes in who got a family, 3 kids to feed, and says, okay, I have total 10 years of experience, but he knows equally. In that case, what's going to be your call in this situation? Will you be paying that person the same salary, or will you be actually believing to what the person said that, hey, in 10 years, every 6 months I used to get a raise, my last salary package was 1 lakh rupees, I need 110, you're giving them 20, I don't give a damn, but I need less money.
That guy is not from startup actually.
Exactly.
Not just a startup, see, it's not just a startup, one day you will be above a startup, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's about startup culture. It's about startup culture.
But the question is,
totally understandable. But again, it's not just about 1 lakh, 10,000. Let's go down. Startup means 10,000 and 15,000.
Yeah,
now fine.
Yeah.
Again,
so a person who's looking forward to join a company just for a raise is not a guy for a startup. That's a wrong idea.
So conversation has ended there. Maybe if you're giving out an advertisement that we are offering something course. So if it's mentioned there, people are looking for it. If the salary is mentioned there, then people who are looking for salary will call you up. So the flaw is not who people are who are coming to you. The question is not whether I will talk to them or not. The conversation has ended. You talked about salary, I'm not talking in terms of salary. I'm talking in terms of this is my motivation. What is your personal motivation? If your personal motivation is salary, this job is not for you. I'm looking for a person who's personally motivated to do something great. Maybe he's a student, I don't care. He's not qualified, he has experience, I don't care. I'm looking for your personal motivation matching to my personal motivation, my company's motivation. Not if it's money, sorry, you're not invited here.
So I'll ask the last question. As startups, we do all the activities to support the operations. Time comes, we grow a little bigger, and then you have the finance department and the HR department and the administration department. The existing employees, which a lot of people of course shared with me, suddenly feel that who's this third party coming in? And I get a disconnect with the top guy. Who's this third party coming in? What is it that you do to build the trust that HR department is for you? Any comment on that?
Yeah, so it's not just HR department, like you rightly said, when a company grows, all these people will come. And a lot of time functional heads will come because initially You may not run with all functional heads, but then then bosses of the founding team will come. Right? The way I have seen what works best is that you should share this very early with your team, that how this business is going to grow big, right? And what will happen, just like you shared what will happen in business, how cities will come, how more clients will come, and how revenues will come. You should also make them aware that how teams will evolve and how senior people will come, right? So that's about preparing your team of expecting them not with the view that they have come to be our bosses. They should be able to say they have come to make us grow big and create more wealth for us, right? That perspective, should be shared early on. It's been now 1 year that I have been talking to my entire team about saying that when the time is right, we get a CEO, because I want to tell them that there will be a CEO who will come and who will actually make more money for us, right? So you have to assure your team that senior people will come, and so that they expect.
But Prashant, this has side effects also. What happens is that. Sorry.
That's the alarm. In the lunch, briefly interact with him, or no, there's no lunch. I'm sorry. So, but of course, as the session ends, you're free to interact with him. As I conclude the session, the 5-point take I carry with me today: dream, share it, plan, work on it, build on the leadership, push your brand endlessly, and throw content. Rightly put, I miss my college, university, institute. I think that's the take. That's the 5-point some things that I take with me. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for all of you who are not part of TIE and you want to be part of TIE. Shamit is here. You could be on the mailing list for all events to come. Prashant is a Chandigarh guy, and rest assured we are going to get him more often in our bigger events as well. Thanks, Prashant. Thanks everyone for taking out time. It has been a very interesting session, and we all, I think, even if we take 1 point with us, it's going to change us and our organizations. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.